You know, there's more to sound than meets the ear.
That's right. In fact, we're immersed in a world of sound that affects most of our everyday lives. In video, we can use sound to add drama and intrigue to ordinary activities, like the ones you saw in the opening sequence.
Authors can influence our mood by describing the sounds of inanimate nature, the thunder of a storm, the pounding of the surf, the whisper of the trees, the gurgling of a brook, the creaking of snow underfoot.
We've developed rich vocabularies to describe the sounds of living things as well. The barking of dogs, the roaring of lions, the chirping of birds, or the crying of infants.
And if the sounds of nature, which we can't control, weren't enough, we've gone right out and produced an abundance of man-made sounds that bring both pleasure and pain to all of us.
The point is, we are constantly surrounded by sound, much of which we never hear simply because we weren't listening.
And that's the difference between this and this.
Exactly. You see, we humans have a unique ability. It's the ability to hear selectively.
And that's something no machine can do. So throughout this program on recording sound for video, we'll show you how to make these things hear the way these things hear. Let's go to a party and we'll show you what we mean.
I'm up for that.
Jana's little gathering here will demonstrate a basic philosophy of sound that will help you clearly comprehend everything else you'll be learning about recording sound throughout this entire program. Now, if you were actually here, in person, you could do something that this mic can't do by itself. You can eavesdrop. You could stand right here where I'm standing, watch one of the conversations going on in the room, and you could basically pick up on what's being said. That's because, as a human being, you have the ability to hear selectively, to listen selectively, to literally block out unwanted sound. But to this microphone, this party is nothing but a jumble of noise. Listen. See what I mean? Now, if we really wanted to pick up on Jana's personal comments over there, we'd practically have to get this microphone into her cheese nacho. We'll come back to the party later and show you how to do just that. But for now, let's go back to the studio for some basics. I heard what you were saying about me at that party, even though the microphone couldn't.
Oh, yeah? Well, that's just because you're binaural.
You'd better tell them what that means.
That means you have two ears. And physiologists tell us that the presence of two ears leads to the binaural effect, which is the ability to detect the direction of approach of sound from a distant source.
And this microphone can't do that, right?
You don't see any ears on it, do you?
Throughout this program, if you constantly remember that microphones don't hear the way people hear, you won't have any problems in grasping the principles of recording good sound for video. And we'll show you some fascinating and fun ways to use sound in home video.
Of course, we know most home video producers don't have all this elaborate recording and mixing equipment, but we'll show you some tricks that even the pros use to get the best sound possible. Let's go back to that party.
We'll get there, but we have to go to school first.
Sound. The succession of slight, rapid variations in air pressure that travel over a distance. Like a billiard ball, sound travels in a straight line until it hits something. The waves bounce off and continue in a straight line until they hit something else. Sound.
That's what sound is. Now let's learn how to capture it. And what better place to learn about sound than on a sound stage?
The key to good audio is believability. That means things that are seen close up should be heard close up.
And things at a distance should be heard at a distance.
Jana will demonstrate that point from way down there. You see, it's important to remember that if your audio isn't realistically believable, your audience will become disoriented and confused. From your point of view, as the audience, Jana should sound like this. Say something, Jana.
When you're seeing me this far away, you should be hearing me this far away.
It wouldn't make any sense if she sounded like this.
When are we going back to that party?
Nor would it make any sense if she sounded like this.
I think you better get down here and help me explain all this stuff.
Okay, but first let me make this important point. Here on the sound stage, something is happening that never happens in real life. Complete silence. You see, this room is totally soundproof. The only sound we hear is that which we make. But this is a great place to demonstrate the basics of sound because we don't have to contend with something that does occur out in the real world, and that's something we call ambient noise.
Ambient noise is simply all of the sound that is present. In fact, it's sometimes simply called presence.
It's all the sound your microphone will hear, and you may not, unless you're listening for it.
If you're shooting your daughter singing a song in your house, ambient noises you might have to contend with could include such unwanted background sounds as a radio playing in another room, water running, or your furnace fan or air conditioner coming on.
Yeah, that's going to be fine, Susie.
How's that?
That's great.
If you don't want these things on your soundtrack, remember to turn mechanical things off before you shoot.
Unfortunately, if you're outside, you can't always turn things off. You can't tell dogs to stop barking, or birds to stop chirping, or airplanes to stop flying over.
This is my favorite one. It says, one last question before you graduate. What is a metric cookie? A graham cracker.
But if you're aware of ambience, though, you can do one of two things. You can either stop shooting and wait for things to quiet down,
or you can learn to control ambient noise with these, microphones. Their pickup patterns alone will help you considerably.
Ironically, the easiest way to explain how microphones hear is to show you with light. Now, there are two basic microphone pickup patterns, omnidirectional and unidirectional. The omnidirectional pickup pattern is very similar to the light pattern given off by a bare light bulb. Watch this.
Omnidirectional microphone, not selective, featuring a pickup pattern of 360 degrees. Picks up sounds equally well from all directions. Can be small and compact. Typically used as a lavalier or wireless mic. Omnidirectional microphone.
Omnidirectional mics pick up sound from every direction, just as this light bulb gives off light in every direction. Thus, an omnidirectional microphone has a pickup pattern of 360 degrees. That means if your little Susie were standing here talking and her sister were over there making noise, an omnidirectional microphone would pick up every present sound equally. And that's not so good for recording selectively, right?
Unidirectional microphones, however, have pickup patterns more like the pattern of this studio light. Unidirectional microphones pick up sound from specific directions, and their patterns vary from very wide angles to very narrow pickup angles.
Unidirectional, or what we simply call directional mics, have to be aimed directly at the sound source. It's their characteristic to pick up signals very strongly within their pickup pattern and to reject sounds outside the pickup pattern.
Unidirectional microphone, very selective, featuring a pickup pattern of about 80 degrees. Sounds to the side and back are subdued. Good for general use. Unidirectional microphone.
Obviously, directional microphones hear more selectively than omnidirectional microphones. But omnidirectional microphones can hear selectively too. It's all a matter of how you use them, and most of that is a matter of where you place them.
The microphone that's built into most home video cameras is an omnidirectional microphone. It's great for mobility and for recording general sound, but it's not too useful for recording sound selectively unless you're in a very quiet atmosphere with little or no ambient noise.